two, one. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the August 18th installment of the Flux Developer Meeting. I'll be your host today, Alison here. Just some general housekeeping before we begin. We all here abide by a code of conduct, which in short just means be excellent to each other. And with that out the way, let's get right into the agenda. Also, please remember to thank you for checking our names in the meeting notes, Kingdon. Appreciate it. And if you turn up late, oh wait, I can't talk to someone who's turned up late. Still. Oh gosh. Anyway, let's get right into the topic. So the first thing we have is KubeCon talks, KubeCon NA in China.
Yes, so we have a talk. We should be on the schedule. I think it went out August 4th or something. Someone might be able to correct me. But anyway, there's like a maintain a track or something talk on the roadmap, I believe, for Flux, for KubeCon North America. We put it in because we wanted to talk about that, and if you don't get in early, then you don't get a slot. But the person who put it in, Lee, is probably not now going to do it, although I haven't been in touch with him because he has gone to work at VMware. So we have to figure out how to fill that slot. Basically, who's going to do the talk. We don't actually have to decide it here. I just wanted to bring it up because this is the everyone's included meeting for Flux.
Was Lee supposed to talk at KubeCon China or at KubeCon US?
US, North America one. The China one, I think I was having a look and I have a feeling we may have missed the boat on that one. But I might be wrong about that. So I don't spend a lot of time keeping track of all the deadlines. So North America is the closest one. China is in December. So North America must be pretty soon, actually.
So for KubeCon China, the deadline is 6th of September.
Oh, okay. That's just in general, the general deadline. Because I think there was a maintain a track, an earlier kind of maintain a track deadline, but maybe I've mistaken that.
So for the maintainer track for KubeCon China, the deadline is September 6th.
Oh, okay.
And is the same deep dive as before. Small intro, then deep dive.
I'm looking at something else. I beg your pardon. Yes, you're right. September 6th. Yeah. Cool. All right. Maybe it's something we should talk about in the Slack or something. In Flux contributors. I just wanted to bring it up. We don't have to discuss it.
Okay.
I will also bring it up in Flux contributor, and then we can have a more asynchronous discussion about it.
Are there any other talks at KubeCon? Not to hijack the agenda item, but is anyone able to say if they're talking at KubeCon?
I'm not.
Good question. Stefan is not. Stefan's taking a break. I would say well earned.
Yeah, I did way too many Flux talks.
If the program has been published, we could check.
Yeah, I think probably after this, yeah, we should probably check it out. Yeah. right, Kingdon, Flux v1.24.0.
Yeah. There's a few PRs that I could use approval on or a look at. Some of them might not be so straightforward, but they're only single-digit numbers of PRs and issues left in the Flux v1 repo. For anyone who's been waiting to see that, we are actually down to 8 issues currently and 7 pull requests open. And out of the 7 pull requests that are open, I hope to include 6 in the next release. The other one, I don't know if we will ever release because I'm not sure if it constitutes a breaking change. But someone needed it, so it's in a PR. And I would like to do the release sometime soon because there are new CVEs against the base image. So one of the changes is a bump to the Alpine 1.24 is it 24? Whatever the latest minor version of Alpine is, 0.1 that just came out a few 10 or 12 days ago. That seems to be the only Alpine base image that does not have this critical vulnerability in it anymore from APK tools. So that's the main driver to get the release out. So if some of these PRs don't get approved and included, it will not break my heart. But there are only 6 in the queue, and I think that they can all go out in the next release. So
the next release be a minor version.
It will be 1.24.0 for Flux, yes. And it will include a bump for the Kubernetes Go client and all the other Go modules that seem to be safe to bump to their latest version. I used the, not Dependabot, but the Renovate bot on my own private repo so that it wouldn't spam everyone with notifications about everything. I found there were 6 or so dependencies that I could not upgrade, and I didn't try to upgrade any further. But the really big ones like Kubernetes Go client, that was really the big one. Got an upgrade. SOPS is in there. I think SOPS is also a CVE issue. SOPS 3.6.1 to 3.7.1. And there's a few others in there that are really small.
Are there new PRs being submitted to Flux?
Not for a while.
Yeah.
The latest
Okay.
one that came from an outside contributor was on May 6th, I think, at least that's still open.
Yeah, it's pretty low rate. Yeah, okay.
So yeah, people are pretty well understanding, but there are still a few people who are really diehard Flux v1 users that have not committed to change or haven't made it yet. And they seem to be really appreciative of the fact that there is a responsive voice.
Yeah, definitely.
So
I can see that, yeah. Good. And what about issues? Similar story, like not that many?
I would say about 50% of the issues that get open still probably belong against Flux v2 because someone didn't read or bypassed the, we actually have a template now that is really specific and should call attention to the fact that you're on the Flux v1 repo, but some people are still bypassing it. So
yeah, I stopped moving them. I got really, yeah.
I'll respond to them. I mean, they can reopen it if it's still important.
I think I moved a dozen and then I stopped because people keep opening, reporting bugs of Flux 2 in Flux 1. They don't read anything. So yeah, we will have this issue until we archive the repo. That's the only way we can stop this from happening.
Yesterday, we had someone open the question about 2 Flux customization types, and that maybe...
Yeah, it was on Flux 1.
Yeah.
I've seen it.
So
Yeah. So what was the CV on SOPs?
I'm not sure. I know that I got a alert from Dependabot, and Dependabot usually only alerts you when it is a security issue. So let's see if it says so in the. Well, it doesn't say here. It just says bumps Mozilla SOPs v3 from 3.6.1 to 3.7.1. I don't see any security issue in the release notes. GHSA, is that like a?
Yes.
Yes, that's what it is. GHSA, local directory executable lookup in SOPs, Windows only. So it probably doesn't affect Flux.
No, it doesn't. We use it as a library, not as a CLI. So that portion of the code is never accessed by us. But yeah, we've upgraded SOPs in Flux 2 long time ago. I mean, I usually upgrade all things on the same day I get the notification of a new release.
Well, we definitely had a lot of things batched up to upgrade in Flux v1. So I tried to, once I realized it would be possible to upgrade to the latest Kubernetes client and everything else, I said, let's just get as many of these as we can. And I ran end-to-end tests for individual things and things grouped together until I was able to see for sure that everything was still passing. And the end-to-end tests have also been upgraded to Kubernetes 1.22 with the latest image from kind. So
yes, I will approve the SOPs upgrade. Let me see the other one. 1 second.
So Kingdon, you basically need PR reviewers for those ones.
yeah, if someone has a real decent amount of time to look into some actual change related things, some fixes that were submitted by the community, this is the comment to look at here that links together all of those issues. And at the top of this thread, this PR itself is only Go module updates for Kubernetes and other things. So I'm considering this as like the central PR for the release. And if this one gets merged, then I can do the release and we can come back to the other ones later if there's not really time to look at them. But I think mostly they should be straightforward. 3156 is the only one that I really haven't been able to nail down myself. It looks like a straightforward error to me, but I don't know that I understand the code well enough to say that it is really an error. The person did some analysis to figure out what order these things should happen in, and it looks like we're just doing them in the wrong order. But if I had a debugger, if I knew how to use a debugger for this, I could see for sure.
Okay, so going back to the Kubernetes modules, we cannot do this type of upgrade. We cannot jump to the latest version, especially with Flux 1. And the Go module, all the Kubernetes packages, those versions should be in sync with kubectl version. And we cannot jump to 1.22 because with Flux 1, we told people, hey, we're always going to support 2 versions back. And the only guarantee to do that is once 1.22 is out, great, then we have to upgrade to the latest 1.21. So look up the 1.21 latest patch release. I'm guessing it's 3 or something like that. Um,
Well, that's great. There's a commit in here that has that version, so I can unroll back to that version, and we'll be on 121 latest, 1.21.3.
0.3 is the latest, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we need to bump all these packages, inject the context everywhere. Then also update the kubectl binary to this exact version, and that should be okay. Make sense?
Yeah. Okay, I'll go back and fix it. What about the context to do stuff? Is it really important that we pass the context around if we're not going to do anything with it? I left out a lot of work that I thought would have made sense, except that seemed like feature work. And
yeah, no, just use context to do, and that's it.
Okay. Okay, that's the big one for me.
Alrighty, so I guess this leads us up to open floor now. If anyone's got anything else to chat about, yeah, do bring that up. Otherwise, we can close this up short and yeah.
Yeah, I want to discuss a thing. So I've opened the pull request in customized controller around garbage collection. Basically what, I'll link it here. So what's happening is that we've tried really hard to come up with a solution on how to mark objects for garbage collection inside the cluster. My first implementation was to make that a label. So it will be, so we can use the Kubernetes etcd index to query fast which objects are staled and delete those. Then a bunch of people came and said, oh, Flux is now deleting our stateful sets and volumes and everything else. The next iteration was we moved the label, the checksum from labels to annotations. But this fixed, let's say, the issue for a couple of controllers. Now other people are back that, yeah, we delete the stateful set for Redis and Prometheus operator, the Prometheus instance that Prometheus operator creates. For some reason, some operators also copy annotations from custom resources to self-generated resources, which is annoying as hell, but we cannot convince all these projects and all these people that they shouldn't do it, to probably mean a breaking change for them. A couple of operators for MySQL and Postgres, they fixed it. They no longer copy the annotation. Also the Kafka operator, one of the Kafka operator has done that, but yeah, we cannot chase everyone around for this. So what I'm attempting now is, like, I think this is also in Flux 1, where we look up if an object has owner references and we skip garbage collection, which is not correct because owner references do not imply garbage collection. So what this pull request does is we look at owner references, and if we find at least one owner reference that has blocked owner deletion true, only then we skip the object. because that's the flag that triggers Kubernetes garbage collection. And on Slack, chatting with people around the Kafka operator that's written in Java, I looked at that code today and they don't set block owner deletion. So yeah, it's a deadlock. Like they don't set it. That means if you delete a custom resource that created a Kafka cluster, you delete a custom resource and all the Kafka clusters, config maps, volumes are not deleted from the cluster because they don't set block owner deletion and so on. But on the other hand, they don't copy annotations. Yeah, sorry, Michael, I cannot.
That's good. What's the, so you have just owner records, but you also have, there's like a controller owner. What's the flag for that? Do you remember? Because that is the one that indicates that this object has been created by a controller in response to some other object, right? Like it's the replica sets that belong to a deployment will have that set.
There's the block owner deletion flag.
Oh, that's exactly that one? Okay.
Yes. I linked to the documentation. Okay. You can read the Kubernetes docs on this. All the Kubernetes controllers, the native controllers are setting block owner deletion. There is a special admission webhook in Kubernetes since 2 years ago that sets this flag to true. Most controllers out there, everybody that's using controller runtime, you don't have to set it. That's by default true when you add.
Sets it to true when, sorry? The admission controller or whatever it is sets.
So the admission controller, if it sees an owner reference of a Kubernetes controller, it will enable the flag. Now, if you use controller runtime to build your controllers, controller runtime, when you add the owner reference, it sets it to true as well. But
if you do it in a specific way, yeah, you can set controller owner and then you can just set an owner as well, but it's slightly more roundabout to do that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, anyway, there are controllers there that do not set this. That means orphan objects are all over the place because Kubernetes garbage collection will not delete it. People are asking for, hey, can you set this flag? Is not in the Java SDK or whatever, right? There are so many things there. I could spend days just looking into it. But what I've discovered with the Flux user is that this Kafka operator does not copy annotations. It only copies labels. So this pull request will also solve that. What I did in this pull request, I said, hey, if the annotation is not set, don't garbage collect, skip it. Why this wasn't done before? Because logically, if the annotation is not set, the pruning is disabled. But it's not Flux that does it. It's some other operator that decides to copy or not our annotation from some object that we manage to objects that we don't manage, right? But anyway, to keep it short, this pull request should solve all the issues that have been reported in the last 2 months around Redis, Kafka, Postgres, and others. So I would really like to merge this and do a Flux 2 release. Sadly, GitHub container registry is broken. You can no longer push multi-arch images, so I can not even create a release candidate so people can, deploy this pull request on their production clusters while we release Flux 2, because releasing it should take a day. What I'm going to do, I'm going to build an AMD 64 on my local machine. I'm going to push that image to my personal Docker Hub repo, and yeah, people have to pull it from there. That's definitely not going to be acceptable for large enterprises which have allow lists. It's not an official Flux image, but I'm kind of stuck. I don't know what to do. The build fails. GitHub broke their registry. So yeah, there is no other way to ship this today to all these users. What's happening is like the impact is really nasty, right? For the Kafka operator, it basically Flux garbage collects the config maps, and those are cached, but in 24 hours, the Kafka cluster will completely break when it reloads the config maps. So we are. It's like a bomb in your production cluster. I've told people to disable pruning, garbage collection until we have a fix. That's about it.
Alrighty. Any more questions from anyone? Otherwise, we can tie this up short and yeah. Going once. Going.
Stefan, did you need something from people before you did this, or are you just sort of announcing the fix?
I'm announcing that I cannot deliver the fix.
You're describing a GitHub container registry is broken. Is this something that they're going to fix, or did they just decide this is how they're doing it from now on?
It's down for 24 hours. No sign from the GitHub container registry folks. The Docker people pinged someone from GitHub. That person said he is going to ping the container registry team. That was yesterday. Yeah, we could, I don't know, temporarily go back to Docker Hub, but then people will hit rate limits and will create other production incidents if they cannot pull Flux images. So yeah, I don't have a solution right now.
If the bug has been in place for a while, I don't know that you should feel obliged to deliver a solution overnight. I know it's a nasty effect, but you know.
Well, it's frustrating because I have the solution, but I cannot deliver it. So that's
I guess my point there is don't let it get your blood pressure up. You know, if it takes an extra couple days, it's.
Yeah, I think the GitHub people as well will see what's happening. I also made Michael reissuing all the tokens, the GitHub bot tokens, because yeah, the GitHub message is unauthorized. And I thought, well, something was wrong with our tokens. The unauthorized message is not unauthorized, they no longer accept pushing multi-arch images or whatever is there. But that error message totally confused me as well. So
Always helpful to have a descriptive error message.
Well, and use the right HTTP status code.
Yeah.
That'd be nice too.
Yeah, like, reject, which is 407 or whatever.
Okay. Sorry to draw out the meeting. I was just wondering about those things. Thanks.
No worries. All right. Anything else? Otherwise, going once, going twice, going 3 times. And thank you very much, everyone, for attending. I'll see you all next installment of the Flux meeting. Ciao.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Bye,
Yes,
everyone.